Hi.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Valerie. This is Illumination Portal, and that is Kate, the Dream Detective. And we're
Hi.
doing we're doing another
Session.
video in the series of how to coping in times of chaos. And
Yeah.
Kate has some really good ideas today. So I'm going to let her go start, and I'll look in the chat and see if anyone comes in and visits with us.
To say hi to everybody as they come in. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Valerie, for having me. I am so delighted that you have confidence that the information that I can share will be of use for people to understand that there are ways to still remain peaceful and calm and loving when things outside are not, when we are in chaos. And I know everybody's already gone through the COVID, how difficult that was, whether they came through with, you know, feeling like they'd accomplished stuff or feeling like they were just under a tidal wave. And this, I hope, will help everybody to understand that they can control what's inside. So I like to call it the inside job. It's all an inside job because there's always going to be chaos on the outside. And what we want to do is figure out a way on the inside to always remain in a place of harmony and love and light and peace. So I'm not really even sure how to call this except to explain that we all have the ability to create a life um, a life recipe or a happy recipe
Yeah.
or habits that will create the goodness that we want in our lives, and that will help us to stay focused in the present moment rather than worrying about the future or crying about the past. So the whole idea here is to come inside and take a look at how we can make those habits the default in our lives. Does that make sense? You
That
with
makes,
me still?
that makes you. I love it. I love this because it's true.
It is true.
It is
So,
true.
so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the senses. We're going to take a look at what your body comes in contact with, what it puts out, what it takes in, so that you can break it all down and have an action plan of things that we can do on a daily basis to bring our own joy back into light and to remember what it feels like to have all that creativity and excitement about life and hope within life, because we'll actually be feeling it. It
Yeah.
won't just be something that, oh, yeah, I remember a day when. There's been an awful lot that has been negative. And so in life, you have an option of either living in fear, which is where all the negative comes in, which is where a lot of what we're listening to on the television and whatnot else is playing into. There's a lot of fear. Well, how do you get rid of fear? You get rid of fear with love. And the only way you can get rid of fear is with love. So
Yeah.
you push it out. We're going to push it out. We're going to push out the fear from within ourselves by bringing in our own love, our own things that make us happy, our own ways of remembering how to bring that happiness back in. And it's the kind of thing that really has to be done daily. It's not something that you just go, oh yeah, let me take a few notes. And then next year maybe I'll remember to look at it. It'll sound really simplistic. And all I can tell you is that it absolutely changes your perception on your day. It changes the outlook on your day. It changes how, when something comes up that's uncomfortable, isn't so uncomfortable, that there's ways through. And so by listening and following your heart and feeding the goodness into your heart, then you'll have that strength of a heart powered environment that's on the inside that can't be touched or hurt. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about is breath and breathing and how to just stop. Just stop. Whatever's going on in your life, your boss is yelling at you, the kids are mad, you're worried about bills, just stop. Stop for a second and take a breath in. When you take a long breath in, you want to breathe in all that love and light that's available to you. Just breathe that in and hold it there. And then exhale anything that's negative. So just take a few breaths. We'll just breathe in light and love. And exhale anything negative. And one more time, we'll breathe in light and love.
Feels really good.
And exhale the negative, right? So immediately there's a change. And that's something you can do at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime. You're upset with your boss, just say, excuse me, and run to someplace private and take a few breaths. The other thing I was going to mention with breath is laughter. Okay. So the more that we laugh, the more that we share that laughter with each other, that is a instantaneous shift in ourselves. That is a opening up and allowing in. That is spirit going, yes, more. So anytime you have a chance to laugh, I encourage that in any mode that you can get there. So that's pretty much breath. Then it was going to move into your thoughts and your intention and repetition. So one of the most important aspects about being human is that we have these bodies that like repetition, that create these records of things. And so you can create a record of a bad habit. You can create a record of a bad memory, of a bad lifestyle, or you can create a record of something that is really, really good, something that you want to tap into again and again and again and again. So with that intention of creating your fun from the in and creating your love from the in, the very first thing that I would say is to be grateful. So start your day with breathing in, and then look around and just silently tell yourself or tell the universe 5 different things you're grateful for. I start the day with gratitude. I end the day with gratitude. And sometimes that can be hard to do because life can be a little tricky. So if your intention is that you're living in gratitude, gratitude brings grace and gratitude brings love. So 5 things, even a gratitude journal, if you really get into it and you discover that things are really shifting for you, acknowledge the fact that it's coming from a place of gratitude. Gratitude sends in all kinds of good energy. Another way that you can change your thoughts is to write yourself a love letter. Write a love letter. Remind yourself of how precious you are. Remind yourself of all the sweet things and all the good qualities. And even in an email to yourself, you can handwrite it, or, on days where you're just like thinking, oh my gosh, can 5 o'clock come around any faster? Or when do I get to go to sleep for the night? Send yourself a text, remind yourself, no, there's goodness. There's goodness. Look for the goodness. Look for the goodness inside your day, inside your writing, inside your thoughts, inside your repetition. So in that repetition is, and they kind of overlaps, are mantras. And mantra is just a phrase that you want to repeat over and over again. Do you have mantras that you work with, Valerie?
I do. I'm real simple. I do. I love and accept myself, because that was the one that got me immediately connected, because I could say all these other things, but I'm like you. I gotta, okay, what can I get to work right now? So if I sit there and I'm frustrated or upset or angry, I just take those breaths, like you were saying, and just say to myself, I love you and I accept you. And another thing, when you were talking about when you're looking around, or you're whatever it is, I was telling Katie right before our interview here, if I'm doing the dishes, I make that an enjoyable experience. I know it sounds stupid. I know this has probably been said before, but really, doing the laundry, whatever you're doing, it does not have to be drudgery. But this again goes back to our perceptions on how we view things. And if our perception is, I hate to clean. It makes me, you get angry. You got to work on that. What do you think?
Absolutely. There are so many opportunities to change the energy field.
The
So many
moment.
ways to light up, even in the line at grocery store.
Yeah.
If you are repeating your own mantras, there are mantras that you can find online. There are mantras from, all the big gurus. They have lists and lists and
Mhm.
lists. My favorite mantras are mantras that start with I am.
Mhm.
The I am is very, very powerful as far as immediately feeling the shift. And usually I'll do a set of 5 or 6 of them where it's like I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy,
Yeah.
right? I am creative, I am peaceful, I am solution oriented.
Yes, I am.
Even
Robert.
though, yeah, even though it can be hard,
Yeah.
and so just in repeating those to yourself silently, and it's even better if you can say them out loud,
Yeah.
over and over and over again, so that if there is a hesitation about how something might go, if you have an interview, if you have a phone call from someone that you're not comfortable with,
Mhm.
you can repeat these I am messages over and over and over again. And
Mhm.
it is amazing how
Calm.
quickly and
Mhm.
how beautifully things become easier. Things just become softer. And
And
it takes that repetition, but it absolutely works.
right. And that's all the energy around you and whatever comes into your vicinity, right? If
Right?
you're if you're saying these mantras or saying I love you or breathing or looking at things in a positive light instead of a negative light, I mean, it just your day just flows so much better. It's so much sweeter
Yes.
to to be in joy.
Yes.
And and it doesn't take big, big things. It just takes these little things because once you start this and you're saying what you're grateful for, all of a sudden the universe is uh, your field is being flooded with that energy,
Right.
and you start to see the results of that, and surprises come along and new people, whatever. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So you're like, this is a really cool place to be. I'm just going to stay here. Now, to be fair, it's not easy to get to this space, but this is why we're having these interviews, why I'm having these discussions with people. So we can have reminders, if you're feeling down at all, the first thing you do is just stop and breathe and
That's
hold
right.
your heart. Hold your heart.
That's right.
Tell yourself you love yourself or I am something. Real quick, I wanted to say hi to Janet P. and Andrea Galvin in
Oh,
here.
oh,
And
hi,
yeah,
ladies.
so they're saying I don't know. Andrea says we're not there, quote unquote, in terms of how I'm feeling. A shift mantra. I'm making new spaces within and without. Oh, that's a good one.
That's
Hi,
beautiful.
T Barb. T
Yeah,
Barb's here too. Yeah,
yeah,
that is beautiful, Andrea.
absolutely. Because what we put out will come back to us. And that element of trust becomes easier and easier as you're actually living proof of the energy shift that happens when you're true to your heart, when you allow your heart to be the one making the decisions, right?
Right.
So the next senses that we're going to talk about are your eyes. So you all know that we are all bombarded with media. We're bombarded with all kinds of billboards and people talking and stuff that's uncomfortable. So the suggestion is to limit the number of hours that you are in front of the television.
Oh my goodness.
Limit the shows that you're watching. And I love zoning out in front of my television. It is one of the way I love drama, I love acting and movies. And, so for me, I have to be very careful that what I'm watching is actually supporting what makes me feel good. Because if it makes me feel scared, or if it makes me feel uncomfortable, or, makes me want to stand up and throw something at it, then it's not the right channel. I need to turn off the channel, or I need to change the channel, or I need to put on something that is soothing and beautiful. And so I had a couple of suggestions for bringing beauty in. In YouTube, there are what are called 4K walking videos. And they are literally people walking in Venice or London or Egypt. And they walk through the streets and so you can see the entire city by these walking tours. And it's free. It's YouTube. You want to travel the world? You want to go on vacation? Take a look at what is out there and become excited by how beautiful our planet is. It is. It's really well done, and of course, it's a YouTube channel, so you can subscribe anytime they do any new ones. So that's a suggestion for you.
Barb's been watching them.
The what?
Barb says she's been watching them. That does sound really cool.
They're very, very nice. It's a nice escape, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. Nice.
At least not a plane ticket, right?
Yeah, I like that idea.
The other suggestion, there's two more, and that is to explore the stars. So we've all been watching the James Webb pictures that are coming back. There are exploration channels that are talking about, what's the galaxy like? How is it expanding? What are the new things to go look at? I'm not necessarily doing a pitch for Star Trek, but there are other things to think about that can shift, so that your mind is in a place of exploration, adventure, and creativity, rather than doom and gloom and what do we do now? And then the last one that I was going to mention is documentaries. And growing up, I always thought, documentary, studying, taking notes. Is there a quiz at the end? But you don't have to be that serious about it. Just go and explore.
Yeah.
Explore and enjoy what's going on. What kind of information? What's something new, something different? Because it's shifting your pattern, because it's shifting away from something that might be, a negative type experience. You're bringing in something new and exciting. And so, limiting or being that filter for what your eyes are actually perceiving and bringing in can be an immediate also shift in your energy as well. Any other ideas there, Valerie?
Absolutely. I love that, because I look at space a lot. I look at all the different things, from the sun, Hubble, any of the telescopes that are out there, the Mars rover. That is just immediately puts you in a space that you're in awe. Wow. Can you believe that we've even gotten this far where we have rovers on Mars? And that James Webb, is it the James Webb telescope? Is that the one?
The new one.
The new one.
That's the new one.
And it has seen so much already. It's mind-blowing how much information comes back. But I love science, so I'm always into this stuff, and astrology. But when we're talking about, like last night, I'm sure we watched the January 6th committee, and probably a lot of us will be watching that, and it might trigger you. And these are the events that we're talking about, or having the news on, and something else triggers you. It is imperative that you know how to get back into your body and ground yourself into Mother Earth. Feel, you got to feel things, especially if they're upsetting. You got to feel it, look at it, but you got to release it. And I think a lot of people forget that. You have to release it so you can move up on your vibration.
Exactly. And if you need to direct it, you can direct it toward something you want to take care of, something you want to participate in.
Yeah.
But fill back up. Fill back up with something that's pleasing to your own heart.
Mm.
That if you're going to involve yourself with it, be sure to balance that time that you have, with perspective and having some distance and having some boundaries with it. Remember to put the same amount of time back in that is playtime. Because if there's anything that's missing for us right now, it's the ability to play, the ability to just have that creative spark come out, and that childlike fun element, that is so much fun. And it's just such a good feeling when everything else disappears and everybody's having a great time. So all I'm saying is if you, for me, I need to release it. I need it to just go. I need it to go away. I don't want to think about it anymore. I need being sensible about it. But at the same time, if that's not an option, then give it direction and give it a box to sit in and a limit to the amount of time that it will drain the positive side back down. And I know this is a complicated topic because there's a lot of emotion with it. There's a lot of passion with it. And all I'm saying is that remember to come back to your heart. Remember to come back to what makes you feel good. And the way that if something is of your heart and is supposed to energize you, your compass for that is physical. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're feeling. So for some people, it could be that they get a headache right away. Some people can actually get dry eyes. Some people can get a ringing in their ears that is like, no, those are signs that there's something to be put aside or might need to be put aside. I should put it that way. Okay. A tightness in your tummy, that can be a sign that something's not okay, or that how you're taking it in is not okay. A tenseness that's anywhere. So a tenseness in your neck, in your back, in your, in your legs, in your feet, a sudden swelling. Those can also be subtle. And I'm not talking about medical conditions here. I'm just talking about, oh, that's interesting. What happened there?
Yeah.
We suddenly have an awareness.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just keep going too with your eyes, because there's 2 more suggestions for your eyes. And the first one is coloring or doodling. And it's scientifically proven that if you doodle or color for even 3 minutes, you can shift from a feeling blue to a feeling happy. And I thought that was amazing. 3 minutes to happy in just doodling and just coloring. And I know there's a lot of coloring books out there right now for adults.
Yes.
And, the ones that are the mandalas and the ones that are the, where you fill it in. I don't even try and stay within the lines anymore. It's too much fun. It's too much fun. And then the last one for the eyes is to read your favorite book. And if you're not a book reader, take a minute and explore what's out there as far as fantasy or adventure or exploration, and take a chance and find something that you can read that is wonderful to bring you back to a place of excitement again, of mystery, of exploration, but just being at another time period. Can actually be very, very soothing. It all depends on, what your heart remembers and what your heart wants to have brought back in. And one step further in reading, read it out loud. And you know what? If you have family or husband that's around, don't read it when they're around, but maybe when they're not in the room, you can, read something that's hysterical and really enjoy yourself with just being able to read something wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite book?
Oh, a favorite book. Let me hear. Kindle app. Yeah, the Kindle app, T-Barb. And T-Barb also said she loves documentaries and has Curiosity Stream. which I didn't even
Curiosity
know.
stream is wonderful.
I didn't
Yes.
even know that existed. Thank you, T-Bar. Very cool. Go ahead. What's your favorite book? I'm sorry.
For me,
Yeah.
what's my favorite book? It's probably Thurston's The 13 Clocks. It's
Oh,
a really old book.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I know.
And just the funny way that he puts sentences together when you say them out loud, it's like, who thought this up?
Yeah.
It's just silly.
It,
It's a story of a fantasy, a fairy tale kind of
yeah.
story. The 13
It,
Clocks.
it flips
You,
your mind, right? Because when somebody's speaking in funny sentences or oddly, it's something that catches your ears, your mind. And that's another thing, though, with the mind, right? We on the right side of our hemisphere is where our intuition and our feelings and our emotions, our empathy comes in, and the left side is the logical side. And sometimes we get too stuck on, the to-do list and all the things that should have, could have been done, or, you can end up really abusing yourself if I used to do that. I used to be like, oh my God, you didn't do your list, and I would never give myself the right side, unless I was asleep or close to it. But an easy way to do that, to sync them together, because, we want to sync them together. We have the
Mhm.
colostrum in the middle. I call it colostrum. I know I'm not saying it right. Just by crossing your arms or crossing your legs,
That's
and
right.
it'll get everything more balanced, so you can take that breath and say, okay, how much time do I want to stay here on this to-do list? Like Kate said, give it a time limit, put it in a box, and when that time limit's up, now it's your time to
Mhm.
either go read or watch a documentary, or whatever it is that excites your heart. And we were talking also, Kate, about how do we stop, the mind chatter. And when we say go drop into your heart, stop and go into your heart, how do you get down into your heart? How do you say, okay, what's my heart really saying, not my mind that just doesn't want to shut up,
It's a really good question. And I always have a busy mind. I have a friend that says your mind is on fire. Does it ever just calm down? Does it ever get quiet?
She's a Gemini.
And
She
yeah.
can't help it. She can't help
So it has to be an intentional thing. So when I notice that I've in my mind gone over I don't know, just an example, a conversation that maybe
it.
next time if that conversation comes up, I should probably use a different word. Okay, I'm just making something up
Yeah,
here, okay? But this is how silly that monkey mind can be,
yeah,
right? How that mind can just, take off and go into tangents and then cycle on repeat, 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 repeat. And it just is, it can be maddening and exhausting at the same time. So for me, I drop into my heart with the I am love statements. And
mm,
I will say, I am love, I am love, I am love, I am loved, I am lovable.
yeah,
I send out love, I receive love,
yeah.
I am worthy, I am peaceful.
And it's,
Until the little monkey thing says, okay.
yeah, okay, you are love. And that does happen. It does. There's a time, comes a time on our journey, and especially our spiritual journey. Of course, I don't think I said this is a spiritual channel, and we are here to help raise the vibrational Mother Earth by raising our individual vibrations.
Absolutely.
But there's a time where on this path you get to the point where your heart is listening to your mind. They're synced up, and the mind is doing its actual job, which is following the heart's desires, the heart's preferences, the heart's, you know, if the heart says, I'm going to have fun playing in the dishwater and make bubbles, the mind goes along and makes the bubbles, right? I mean, it sounds stupid and silly, but I mean, this is how you get all your moments back. Because our
Yeah.
moments can be just siphoned off so quickly and stolen from us over worry and concern and anger, or, even rage. You're driving and you get angry at somebody driving. I used to do that. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm sure, now I love everybody. I send all the cars gold light, and I just make a game out of everything, no matter where I'm at. If I'm driving, if I'm going into a store, I see it in gold or pink sparkly light before I go in, and everybody in there. And I just have the mind makes these, just these little things, and it's genuine. I truly want to send love to everybody, and
Mhm.
and have everybody have a peaceful day, not just me, but so it's, to me, it's a win-win, because I always think of it like that. And I'll be honest with you, I was telling Kate this the other day. I was not a positive thinker. In fact, it took me a lot of work to believe and change my perceptions. I thought life was hard. It was terrible. I couldn't understand why I was here. And really, about 50 or even later is when I decided, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. That's just how I've been looking at it. So I get really, fired up about this subject, because I don't want to live in regret. So I had to go through that too, because your mind will tell you, oh God, look, messed up for 50 years. You just never get anything right. But you have to go in and you have to say, you know what? I'm good with it. Every moment of my existence brought me to here.
Right.
But for the younger people, or for people newer to this the spiritual ascension thing that's going on, there's got to be a time in when you are the only one who can do it, is
Right.
change your perceptions
Yeah.
and change your beliefs, and at least try. I always give everything a 30-day trial period, whether it's a vitamin, whatever.
Right.
But with this, once you change that perception, and it actually got to the point where I would have a negative thought and I would change it to a positive, and I had this thing going on for the longest time.
Right.
And I just kept doing it, and the mind was relentless. It was like, no, you're a piece of shit, or whatever was going on. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a good person, whatever. But it finally clicked. Now it just doesn't even fight and argue with me. It's not, that's past that point. But it took me a long time to get there. Now, it might not have taken you. I don't think Kate ever was like that. She's just so bubbly and happy. But there's some of us who struggle, and I want everyone to know that it doesn't have to be a struggle. You don't have to look at it like life is just one big, oh, you're just stuck in the mud. You're just stuck, and everything's wrong. There's hope. There's
There's
hope.
absolutely hope.
Yeah.
There's absolutely hope, and it is an inside job. It is something that takes practice. It takes repetition. Marathon runner doesn't just leave the house with his shoes tied up and go, okay, yeah, let me go do a 45K. No, you bring in the little pieces a little bit at a time, and you'll know when something is working, because suddenly there'll be this interesting thing happen during your day, or you'll find yourself smiling an awful lot more,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll be having these connections or these conversations with people that is just delightful. It's
Yeah.
not hard. It's
No.
not, it's not full of fear. The fear will be, the fear level will start to come down as the love level starts to rise and rise.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
that is, in my belief, the reason we're on the planet, is because when we are filled with the things that make our hearts sing, then our light shines. and our light shining gives other people permission to shine too. And it's the collective light that we are shining that is going to make all the difference in our survival of the human race. And that's just my personal belief. But there are things that you can bring in to make your life spectacular, and it doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't, and I should say I'm not a counselor. I'm not a professional person, that's in mental health. If there's something that needs addressing, seek that help. There are even 800 phone a friend type numbers where it doesn't have to be a therapist. It can just be another voice on the other end. So voice is one of the things I wanted to segue into. Did you notice how I segued into that? So in voice, we have, singing your favorite songs, reading out loud, phone a friend, and then, let's talk about when you call a friend that is going to be on their pattern of, I'm not sure I want to have that conversation again, right? And so some suggestions might be, hey, I'm up to here with whatever that other topic is that I don't want to talk about. But I really appreciate you as my friend. So could we talk about your vacation plans, or how you want to remodel the house, or what's happening with your children, and give the boundary, the diplomatic out that says, this isn't about repeating that, but let's shift it just so slightly so that we're not in that same old groove of ooh, you want to talk about that again?
The boundaries are extremely important, not only with other people, but with ourselves too. Because this is another thing. This is how you catch your mind, trying to get away from you and bring you down to thoughts that you weren't wanting to go to, and you're like, nope, we decided we're not going to think about that today.
Sorry.
The 31st of January, we're going to think about that, and you tell your mind something like that, and it stops.
We're going to put that in a time capsule. I want to look at that in a decade, okay? Because not now. But and then the other thing that we talked about too was listening. And listening, brings in music. It brings in happy music. The way that whether something is inspiring and happy and soothing your heart is by how you feel when you are listening to it. So if somebody says, oh man, you got to check this out, and it just doesn't go there, don't be afraid to say that's nice and move on to the next song. But as Valerie and I were talking about this, I put together a really short song list of songs that whenever I listen to them, lift my spirits. Okay. And Valerie's going to put it in the comments down below. And I'll just read them off to you. We have Happy by Pharrell Williams, Have It All by Jason Mraz, Love is the Answer by England Dan and John Ford Coley. I know some people watching may not be in my age group, but Love is the Answer has been in my top 3 songs for about 25 years. So that's one of the ones that I absolutely, really adore. Look for the Good, Jason Mraz again. You're Beautiful by Carole King. Oh my gosh, get up every morning and tell yourself you're beautiful, because you are beautiful. So her advice inside the lyrics of that song are just really, really beautiful. How about a little Kick Up Your Feet with Shining Star, Earth, Wind, and Fire? I Feel Good from Pink Sweets, and one that's a little on the spiritual side is Kyrie by Mr. Mister. And Kyrie eleison, down this road that I must travel, will you go with me? Will your light be with me? So Kyrie from Mr. Mister, pop tune that absolutely has spiritual messages through it. That's wonderful. And then I just want to add one more thing because I know we're probably running out of time. But
Oh, you're fine.
when you're looking at other ways to lift your energy and lift your spirit, and you're looking at your whole body, movement. When
Mm,
you are in motion, you can change your emotion by being in motion. So walking, dancing, stretching, putting your feet in ocean water. Oh yeah,
yes,
sign me up.
yes.
Ocean water, right on the beach. A bubble bath, getting a massage,
Oh, that
right?
sounds so nice right now.
I know. When
Massage.
was the last time we had a girls' day out where everybody had a massage and
Right.
mani pedis and
Oh.
all that pampering stuff? So if you're building in the good stuff, it pushes out the fear, the panic, the negative stuff. It sends messages of love for you and to you.
Mhm.
And it is absolutely the one of the easiest things that we have to remember how to do it, how to spend the time to, take in our own self-care that involves saying, yeah, I do love myself. I give myself permission to have love and to
Mm,
be love. Um, so if you can, be as gentle as you can to quiet the chatter in your mind,
mm.
and remember that you're not your thoughts, and that you're magnificent and you're here to shine. So life becomes this huge adventure. I would challenge anyone to send me an email or write in the comments if they try these. You really have to give it a heartfelt try for at least a week, if not
Yeah.
the 30 days,
Yeah.
and share with us how things pivoted. How did things shift? How did things become lighter and more fun and more enjoyable for you by simply incorporating, taking care of bringing that love and light in on a daily basis in that practice? Do we have any questions from the chat?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Terry. Vicky's here. Um, we have a okay. Where to go? I've been listening. Oh, she's been listening. Great show. She really appreciated Kate and Allie's dream class. Yes, Kate has really got such a sweet vibe about her, and she just really comes from her heart. It's beautiful.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you.
Andrea said chuffing sounds are great vocal releases, like the lioness chuffs. I never
Ooh.
knew that. And then T Barb has her favorite book series, the Hollow series, beginning with the Dead Witch Walking, all kinds of powers to take the bad guys out. I'm really into those. I like this.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like those types of books too. And I mean, and another thing, it's just even doing something kind for somebody else, anything, or an animal, right?
Mhm.
Changes your whole vibe too. It brings you into, and I think, I'm not saying men aren't, but women are naturally more caring and caretakering of others. But still, it makes me feel good when I can do something nice for somebody, anything. It doesn't have to be something big either. Like we were saying, these are all simple little tweaks just to change that vibration,
Right.
get you back into your center. And that's another thing with center with breathing. When you breathe that deep breath in, I always imagine it coming from my higher self, coming down all my chakras, grounding into Mother Earth, and you do those couple breaths, right? And you see your energy column, and you clear it out, like you just get all the junk out of it, so you have this really clear, clean energy column, because that's what we are. We're energy walking around in energy bodies, but we're columns of light, right?
Right.
And you can add color to you can what's your favorite color? I always think of gold, and I'm always surround myself in gold. And it's a see-through sparkly thing. It's not for like ultra protection. I used to be overly protective of my energy when I first started, coming into the spiritual awakening. Um, there is a lot of, there's a lot of distortion out in the external world, in the news, and we see it all day long. But that doesn't mean you have to stay in that vibration. Like we were saying, you're gonna see these things, you're gonna have to process it, whether it's an emotion or a feeling. Some deep breaths and release. Just
Yeah.
release it, and then take that burden off your shoulder. I'm sure every one of us, if we could, we'd solve all the world's problems, if we had that chance to do it right now, and we really can. Once you get to that internal peace inside yourself and that love inside yourself, that is contagious.
Right.
You meet people who are at the same vibe as you. You just end up in those situations. Like, things aren't as hard and harsh as they used to be, at least for me. I don't know if that's what you've experienced, Kate, but I had a lot of harsh experiences but that was my perception and my beliefs of thinking that it all had to be hard because this place is just hard, when it's not. It really isn't. And you get to that point, and spirit just keeps showing you, the more that you are respectful of yourself and your energy, and kind to yourself, and doing the little things that give you joy and happiness, the more it just, like, they just come flooding in.
Yeah.
It's
The more that you enjoy your life, the moments that it encompasses, the more joy comes in. We are receivers and magnets to whatever it is we're putting out. So if we are putting out joy and love into the world, that's what's going to come back in. It gets tricky. So that's why we want to build up that joy reserve. We want to build up what's inside our hearts with our own recipe of what is that? How do I do that? How do I remember what that is? And how do I get it in there so that it becomes routine, like brushing my teeth, taking a shower? It is the part that is so complicated and yet so simple. I'm not really sure why our part of the world doesn't teach it, because I do think that there are other parts of the world that have bits and pieces of the same thing that we're talking about right now, Valerie, with being energetic beings, are attracting what we're putting out.
Right.
And the challenge really is to have the heart guide the mind.
Yeah.
So the mind knows the mechanics, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to rewrite some of those mechanics. We're going to get rid of some of those old records, some of those old ways of thinking, or, even those old ways of saying what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Because what is thought becomes word, becomes reality. So in the worst case scenario, if you're up to here with, okay, say to the universe, I accept all the love possible to come down on me now.
In this moment.
I accept all love and only love. And there is I don't want to make it sound like it's extreme or only going to happen because it happened with me. I have shared this with other people, and the response is so beautiful and so uplifting to hear how things got better, how things had more options, there was more creativity, there was more adventurous spirit and more trust. This is a good place to be. That this earth, this moment, these friends is a good thing. That's a good thing. And that we should celebrate those things in the ways we can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard still to celebrate, especially on Zoom. I mean, I guess we could all put on tiaras and go, hey,
Yeah,
let's do the
we can. I mean, it is so. It is crazy how we connect like we do now. I mean, none of this technology was here before. And what, like you were saying earlier, we don't teach, at least when I was growing up, that wasn't taught to me, that, your happiness and your joy was first and foremost. Being connected to your heart was first and foremost. So I see things changing over the years, where I see parents bringing up their kids in a more heart-centered, soul-centered way.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, it is exciting, because it's changing everything. And when you see these kids who are just so happy, and like they know that they love themselves. It's not even a question, and it really melts my heart anyway. But words are spells. If you think about the words we say to ourselves or speak out loud, you're speaking into this is all creation energy all around us.
Yeah.
And we speak what we believe or perceive into existence.
That's right.
By either writing it, speaking it, whatever, typing it, it's going to come out somewhere, because that's how this energy here works, right?
Right. Exactly.
But
it happens quicker than it
yeah,
has before. Everything seems to be much faster,
isn't it?
Your results will be faster as well too.
Yeah.
And what happens too is that when you've had the sweetness, after a couple of weeks or months or even years, you really notice it when something starts to slide or something starts to feel uncomfortable, because you can tell within your own senses that something's getting depleted or something needs to be refreshed. And in those moments, saying and taking care of yourself and refilling and putting it back in, that is miraculous. That is good health. That is good mental health. That is good friendships and relationships. And even at times where it's like, how you were saying you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot too. And
who hasn't, right? We all,
right? We've all been outside that tornado and flying around and going, what on earth is this? And oh my gosh, there went a cow. It's like, sometimes it's such a mystery, and it takes every ounce of breath to just believe you're going to make it through the day.
Yeah.
And so I encourage anyone that is in that place where they don't feel at 100% peak, wonderful, to bring in these elements of what makes your heart happy. It doesn't cost anything to listen to a piece of music. It doesn't cost anything to phone a friend. It doesn't cost anything to run a bubble bath. Things that say, I love me and I'm going to take care of me. And that refreshes. That's the piece that refreshes us. That's the piece that hits that reset button that goes, okay, I'm stopped. I'm grounded. I'm letting in my energy and I'm putting out the good, so that the good can return. Because it's super easy, being human, to not remember that spirit loves those good things.
Forget. Yeah, if you get caught in a moment, it's easy to forget. And something tragic happens. Andrea's saying here, an example is a violent situation that creates devastating loss. Being with a person in their grief is much different than fix it. And of course, grief is a process. I would never say, oh, snap out of it, but we're talking about everyday, day-to-day situations. Not saying that just couldn't happen to somebody in the daytime or throughout their day, I mean, but
all of this information helps those situations have more love and light in them. When you are powered up and you're sitting with someone that is experiencing tremendous grief, that energy of your own self-love can be that life preserver can be
Right.
that bandage that they need, can be that salve that they need without you even having to say anything.
Right.
Simply by being who you are and allowing that love to flow through you, they will sense that sense of love. And love is the really, to me, it is the ultimate thing to heal us. It is the thing that, that without it can feel like there is no reason to breathe. So when
Mhm.
you are next to someone and you are helping their energy, or just by being in their energy, being with them in that time, it doesn't need words. It will be felt. So that's what I'm talking about as far as making sure that you've got yourself powered, that
Right.
you are powered up within your own love, your own energy resources. And the way that you do that is by doing things throughout your day that bring a smile to your face, that make you laugh, that make you sing, that make you, want to go do the hopscotch, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah. I
play
mean,
jacks,
too.
or get on a swing or ride a bike. I
Oh, I
mean, those
love
are
swings. Yes, you
right.
do.
That
It's like
that
putting
we
your oxygen mask on first, right?
what?
You're putting your oxygen mask on first.
Yes, yes, and that is the hope, that we can all remember to put the mask on first.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's nothing more difficult than grief, I think.
no, no.
Yeah, it's tough.
And that's a list, that's listening, that's holding space, being the love that you are and listening.
Hmm.
And that's, I know we've all been there, on some level with
Right. And even the person in grief sharing that space, knowing that your love is flowing, okay, and
mm,
on some level we'll remember that, we'll remember what that energy flow feels like, okay,
yeah.
and it will soothe them.
Yes.
You may not see it right away, they may not see it right away, but holding space and holding your energy and being in a place of love is always a quiet, gentle, healing type energy that is often only realized after the fact, down
Yeah.
the road.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
In those moments, it's hard to grasp anything. It's
right.
your entire existence got rocked. That takes time to come back from shocks like that. It's not
Right.
nothing easy about that. But again, focusing back onto you
Hmm.
to be strong in your energy and stable in your energy, and having the ability to send out unconditional love. I, I think you do this too, Kate, where you send it out throughout the world, send it to specific areas. I do that every day. I don't know if that helps, but I do know it feels good for me to release love through my heart.
Yeah.
And to anyone who's grieving or anyone who's in pain, um, I usually do, schools and prisons. I send love there. It's just the things that pop into your head. It's you don't know, but I do know by sending it out of your heart, somebody is gonna get in that energy field, and at least maybe change a very bad moment to a neutral moment, at least, something.
Yes.
I don't have proof of any of that other than my guides say, guide me to send love, and I've been doing it for years, so I just do it. But
Right.
I feel I have never been as happy as I am now. And it's, in the last about 10 years. So I I want everyone to know that they can feel like this, and
Yeah.
and that you can have a beautiful life, a meaningful life. It's just a matter of you changing your perception to that understanding, to believing that you can. There is another way to look at things besides uh, negatively.
Right.
That was me.
There's a phrase that, the one that says, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
I think it's the other way around.
yes.
Because I believe it, I see
I
it.
see it. Yep. And
Yeah.
that's the truth. And then
Yeah.
once you do these little experiments, if you're not there yet, I think the people here today are,
Pretty tapped in.
yeah, they're already tapped in. But it once you see those immediate, and it's immediate, you sit there in a few minutes of gratitude, and just how much different you feel after that.
It's
It's
wonderful.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
pulls
It's
you
wonderful.
right out of that. You
And
know,
it's really, really, we all have specific gifts. We all have things that are meant to light up, that are meant to shine. So that discernment, that curiosity and that understanding that for you to feed yourself those things allows those gifts to grow and those gifts to come out and shine. And
mm,
when we shine, again, we allow everyone else to as well.
mhm,
And there are, then everything becomes possible. It
yeah,
it isn't a matter of, oh, no, it becomes, hey, what about?
yeah,
And the conversation goes, and it's like it's the most amazing thing. I don't want to make it sound like, um, you know, snap your fingers and all will be well. You and I both know this is a daily ongoing practice that we do
that is
so that we remain in that place
that's right.
of love and light. And because that is the overpowering substance that is flowing through us, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
then life becomes so much easier and so much more exciting and so much more fun,
yeah.
and beautiful. And
Yep,
I'm so grateful you put these out there, Valerie, because I know that people can be questioning or looking or trying to figure it out, and not everybody like me ends up in the self-help column in the library. Excuse me, but where can I
that's
find
because
this book?
you
Oh, self-help. Okay.
well, I've never
Again.
used that in the self-help section. Oh my goodness. And it's true though, it takes work. I mean, it just
Yeah,
didn't happen.
right.
It took work to get to where you, especially on this spiritual journey we're on. You,
But it does get
you-
easier.
it does. Oh
It gets
yeah.
easier. It
And
gets
once
easier
you're
and more
there,
fun. And,
yes,
and really much more magical too.
yes. Once you're there, it clicks in, and you know. Okay, like I even had a couple bad weeks, after those eclipses. Plus, that we had some terrible things happening in the world. Um, you know, you got to sit up here and you got to process it, or you got to sit wherever you are and process those emotions. It's just not going to go away. And sometimes, spirits having you face certain things that are happening, whether it's in your vicinity or out in the external world, and really process that to get to a different space with it. I'm not saying it gets to a better space, but you get to a different space where you process that emotion, and now you can come out and look at things a little bit more objectively. That to, well, I don't want to go into the school stuff, but I mean it was very difficult
Mhm.
to go through that and to see that. And I mean, and I'm hundreds of miles away. But I look at the parents, I look at the town, and look at the people, and I just send love there, send love, send love to everybody there.
Right.
And that's that's
And
how
that
it
is,
can work.
and
Because we
that is,
can't go and change something, right? We can't fix it. I like to fix things.
yes. And
That
when we're feeling helpless, like that, what can we do?
yeah.
There's your answer. That's
Mm,
exactly the answer. Love is the answer. It is always the
mhm,
answer, right? When you feel like there's no hope or you feel like you can't participate, you can participate in a very powerful, powerful, and meaningful way by sending love, by putting the intention out there for healing and for understanding and
Well,
forgiveness.
yeah. T-Barb saying it here. It took DT for her. I was in the depths of despair. I know we all were. I thought everything I knew about the world and its goodness was wrong. Readers pulled me up and been flying ever since. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This community alone, I mean, this is how we
Yeah.
found each other, was through those traumatic years of that person, and now we're gonna have to witness the truth of what he did. Even like, I mean, things are gonna come out that haven't been spoken of, probably, don't you think?
I do.
And
But we have new tools too.
yes, we
So
do.
in understanding and being smart about watching and learning and uncovering and having that become enlightened so that we know what went on,
Yeah.
we can be smarter about creating solutions and patterns and laws and regulations and all of those pieces that give us the opportunity to make things better. Make
Yes.
it better. Think outside the box.
Yes.
Think outside what was.
I, I,
I can't tell you how many people have said, but I just want things to be normal again. Well, normal was, what brought on, a lot of stuff wasn't really very cool in normal. So
no,
maybe it's time to go, I want things better,
yes.
and start that conversation with.
Want to level up. Yeah. Let's level up. Humanity, it's time
Mhm.
for us to level up. It's time to end a lot of these people like, the ex person who was in charge here. And just all these types. It's time for humanity, because look, most of us are loving. Everybody is. I mean, 90% of the people are working hard, trying to take care of their family, being a good person, doing what they can to, you know, be here and enjoy it on some level. And you have these very few, what is maybe one, two, maybe 10% of the people who really would never want that for anyone else.
Right. And
It's
what
kind
makes
of,
it really hard too is I think that the ones that are making a lot of noise,
hmm,
the ones that are making a lot of noise are really uncomfortable with the ones that are sitting in joy and in love and in peace because they want to make things uncomfortable. They want everybody else to be uncomfortable. They want things to be dramatic and loud and bombastic and explosive.
and they have the news on their side to keep broadcasting it as loud as
As
possible.
loud as possible.
So
So
that's,
we do need to be vigilant, but
yeah,
there is something to be said about the mass numbers of us that are quietly, creating better solutions, creating better ideas,
yeah.
and
So
we have to stay in that
definitely
hope.
be vigilant and discerning.
There you go.
Once you got those two things down, and then you focus on what it is that you prefer. What do
And
you prefer?
and if you ever forget how wonderful you are and how much love there is hiding in there that just wants to come out, you just call me. I will remind you because we are magnificent and we are
Yeah,
meant to be beautifully shining, right?
yeah.
For each other.
You are so sweet. Thank you for coming on
Yeah,
and
you're most welcome.
sharing all your wisdom with us today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
And I'm going to say bye to everybody today.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah, we'll be
Appreciate the
back
company.
again. I'll have Kate come back on again anytime she wants. All right.
Okay.
Well, we love you.
Love to
Be
you too,
safe out
sweetheart.
there and keep yourself centered in love.
Absolutely.
Night, guys.
Night.